Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Cryptic Crypto, the channel that gives you daily advice on the crypto market. Please like and subscribe, and also remember that this is not financial advice. These are just my opinions of the market and the trades that I'm entering on a daily basis. So let's kick straight into it. Well, look, we have been talking around obviously Bitcoin, and it's breaking that kind of key level of resistance at 110. We're at 109,118, and when we look across the overall board, look at a lovely plethora of green with CRV, which again, guys, I am going to be doing an entire episode on CRV and on Clanker, but CRV is up 8.8%, XLM is up 8.7%. Some big moves. The entire market is up today. Why is that? Let's run through some news. But first of all, like I said, overall, when we look at Bitcoin, look, we're still kind of in this kind of bull flag, structure. Again, from that perspective, we're trying to push above 110,000. I've gone through my price hikes on numerous videos, so we don't need to go through that again. But a really interesting thing is, look, from a Bitcoin dominance, we've been basically trading in this channel for months and months and months, continuously going up and up and up and up. Other than back here where we actually had like a mini altcoin season, which if we look at the altcoin index, you can quite clearly see, same timeline from that perspective. Yeah, November, December of last year. We are not in an alt season yet, guys. There's a lot of people bull posting going, it's time. Well, it could be, but we obviously need a big move to the upside. Anyone that follows like the kind of altcoin season or the indexes or anything like that, we are still thoroughly in a Bitcoin season. And what we really needed to do is break above 75 for us to be thoroughly on. Enjoy the way up, guys, take profits, but we are not there yet. But there is a lot of bullish news, like obviously the Bitcoin dominance beginning to fall, but we do need this to fall quite significantly, as mentioned, with price of Bitcoin either remaining the same, consolidating, or going up. Now, big news. I posted this literally the other day going, look, we've tested this multiple times, 5-6 times. Once we break above it, I'm bullish. We still need to print right above that. If we break it down on the 4-hourly, cool. But I really want to see a candle above this line and trending in that direction. We've obviously tried breaking it multiple times, and we actually broke it briefly the other day, but then we came all the way back down. This is incredibly bullish for XRP. If you are holding big bags of XRP and you keep moaning about the price remains the same, there's no movement, it's never going to go any higher, and I see all the people consistently posting like XRP's a crap coin and what are you doing and all this other things. It's not. It's outperformed the majority of the market this year. If we look at this year and we actually break it down, look, ETH is down, but ETH is, actually doing quite well. XRP is all at 453%. Bitcoin's only 92.5%. So yes, if you bought in, January, if you bought in February, March, April, you're probably a bit down because you're trying to consolidate those markets. But I bet you have not been buying on the way down, because when we look at this XRP price here, and I posted this on one of my lives yesterday, when we break this, and I put XRP, please, and look where we are. We've broken above it. We've been consolidating in here for God knows how long. We've been looking at like trying to get above this sort of $2.34 for since the beginning of basically since the end of May or halfway through May. From that perspective, we're now pushing above it. We haven't pushed it above that since May. That is incredibly bullish, guys. Plus the fact that we have been trending down on our Bitcoin XRP kind of pairing for a long time. We've just consistently been trended down, consistently all the way down, and now we're beginning to pump above. I believe this is obviously a bottom. We kind of had a double bottom here, and it's been a good line of support. We've bounced off that, and now we're beginning to go to the upside. So if you are holding XRP, fingers crossed you have been dollar cost averaging on the way down, and that you are in some profits, because that's ultimately what we want to do. So Bitcoin dominance down, Bitcoin price up, XRP Bitcoin pairing up, XRP up, all really positive from that. And the reason why I'm highlighting those two at the moment is because Bitcoin, I wouldn't say XRP has completely escaped that. Bitcoin's still you know, does drive the market, and XRP is one of my big plays, as well as Solana, from that perspective. And if we looked at, you know, or even let's look at SUI. If we look at SUI, incredibly bullish, guys. Like, shown this chart multiple times, from that perspective. Descending wedge, we've broken above, we broke that, we've come all the way up. There's this line of resistance here, we've turned that into support, and again the price is pushing up, all bullish. Now, anyone that's been following me knows that I'm doing the 500 to 5,000 in terms of that. I've been doing it for a little, well, about 9 days now. We're $364 up with, you know, $74 worth of dry powder. Admittedly, it might take me a bit of time to get to 5,000 without, you know, increasing leverage quite significantly, which is why I've obviously increased leverage in terms of SUI. Not a huge amount of profits, but these are all trades that we've recently opened, but every single trade we have open is in profit, and that's what we want to see. You know, we are already, you know, pretty much, well, we're going to hopefully by the end of the week be double, so 100% increase in terms of the money that we started with when we started this. And it's a lot harder when you're trying to trade with, you know, all the cash that you have in one of these trading accounts, which I set up specifically for this channel, to kind of show you. We've taken some profits in some of them, and again, I'm sure you guys are like, oh, it's not huge amounts, but you know, ultimately I don't want to share my actual trading program on here, because you know, I want to do something that I thought, you know, a lot of you hopefully do have $500 spare, can obviously put it into these trades. And again, it's not financial advice. Always do your own research. These are just the trades that I have open and where we're at with them. Now, breaking it down, look, some bearish news. First of all, a dormant whale moves 14,000 Bitcoin, 1.52 billion after 6 years. I don't know where they've moved it to be honest with you. Let's have a little look. To Zappo Bank. Interesting. So, like, are they going to sell? Are they going to, like, who knows? But ultimately, you know, what we don't want to be seeing, we want to be seeing whales buying, not obviously moving their money to exchanges, because generally when people move it to exchanges, it's to take profits. But that's the only bit of bearish news that I, in all honesty, have seen. I mean, look at going again, Ripple will utilize BNY's transaction banking services to underpin its operations. BNY will serve as a primary reserve custodian for RLUSD. You know, Ripple CIO on BNY partnership. It's huge. Like, Ripple are just getting more and more partnerships every single day, and that is going to help if you are holding XRP. Obviously, RLUSD is Ripple's kind of stable coin, and XRP is the actual, well, I suppose the coin that all of us are hoping is going to go to the moon. XRP open interest is about to break up and reclaim all-time highs at almost 5 billion. Open interest is the amount of open contracts for futures. This is how much interest there is in XRP right now, guys. It's huge. It's absolutely massive. Korea, we've run through our videos, are consistently buying. They've had records. I think it was like 5 billion they bought yesterday in terms, well, to be fair, it's there, 5 billion from that perspective. That is absolutely massive news if you've got XRP. And again, I'm sure a lot of you are like, oh my God, we've been just trading between, you know, $2 and, you know, $2.30 for a long time. We're at $2.38. We've had a nice little move to the upside today from that, and we've broken the, fingers crossed, we're going to, yeah, about 4%, but like, fingers crossed, we're going to turn this into support, and then we're going to push up to the upside. And I've run through some of my price targets. Like I said, I'm not thinking it's going to be $1,000, although I'd be absolutely over the moon. But right now, I am thinking that it's going to be going between sort of $8 and $12. Those are my honest expectations, and I will be taking profits on the way up. Michael Saylor, all aboard the Bitcoin Express. I mean, he bull posts. He only bought the other day. I mean, he just bull posts all the time. Breaking again, Emirates Airlines to accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for flight payments. Look, the fact that more and more companies are either accepting its payments, creating a treasury fund, or investing in crypto shows you the market. Retail really needs to catch up now. This is your opportunity, in my opinion, to make a lot of money, because, you know, the more retail exits and the more, you know, kind of large businesses and investment firms and companies begin to utilize it as payments, the more open interest will happen. And normally retail's too late. Normally what happens is, retail literally comes and buys at the top. Retail, for those that don't know, is people like me and you. So, just people that are buying crypto on the daily, have some funds and invest on it. Whereas, we don't have the billions of pounds to invest. Well, some of you might, but the billions of pounds to invest in a treasury fund. I've got spot bags and future bags from that perspective. I've got open trades on a daily basis, but by no means am I a business that is consistently purchasing from that perspective. What does... oh, interesting. Thought it was something interesting had come up there. Look, Ripple news today. Ripple's CEO to testify before Senate as XRP price braces. Like, I know more recently I've been posting a lot around XRP. That's because the chart just looks awesome, if I'm honest. Like, if I was to be bullish on anything right now, it would be XRP. Look, we've broken the Bitcoin pairing. As long as we don't come back down, which we have before, and we turn this into support, hugely bullish. Price has gone up above like key resistance. Fingers crossed we turn that into support. If we do, we're in incredibly good space. And the fact that the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, is set to testify before the US Senate Banking Committee on Wednesday, today, in a pivotal moment for the crypto industry regulatory future. The fact that someone who has obviously got vested interest in XRP and RLUSD and Ripple is actually speaking to the government and actually going, look, these are my reasons. Like, this is what I think we should do in order to enable a better crypto, in order to get better governance, in order to do X, Y, Z, is hugely bullish. Let me introduce you to some of the 55 million Americans that own and use crypto. I am testifying tomorrow because, capitals, these are the very people who deserve market clarity. Time and again, the skeptics insist on stereotyping crypto holders, but that's simply not the reality. Now, yeah, I think people that hold crypto, even when I speak to my friend circles, right, they think you're some like fanatic who will hold on to that coin forever, won't take profits. I'm certainly not. Ultimately I'm there to utilize it in order to get more investments, in order to make money and ultimately make my life better. That's why I'm in crypto. I'm not in crypto for any other reason other than that. Look, the fact that there's also XRP vs Bitcoin, which is better, buy right now. I mean, the fact that this is on Yahoo Finance is crazy. Look, XRP is building scaffolding to be favoured by institutions. And to be honest with you, when I look at retail, when FOMO starts coming in, are you going to look at Bitcoin if you've got $100 or $500, whatever, and go like, oh yeah, sweet, I'm going to buy, 0.00001 of a Bitcoin, or will I buy 40, 50, 100 XRP? Naturally, just from a mental perspective, most people are going to bowl into XRP, and it's always been a retail favorite. And when this alt season index does begin to move up, I guarantee you that XRP is going to be one of the first to move. It's always the higher caps that move first. Then that goes into your degen coins from that. And when we look at the crypto bubbles as a whole, and we look at today, look, everything's up. Like XEN, tiny little pump, but look at across the board. Every single coin that we are holding is up today. So today's a good day. Today is green. We've got a summit today. We obviously need to know, like, will there be any positive, negative? What kind of news will come out? The fact that Donald Trump's Truth Social is saying, they're going to be buying XRP and CRO and those kind of coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's incredibly bullish. When we look at, obviously, the ETH chart, well, again, this isn't my chart, but interesting. ETH chart, look, we're back above $2,600 with some positive sentiment. If we look at the ETH BTC, let's just have a look at that. Like, we're beginning to trend on the upside. We've obviously, like, to be fair, we've hit a key point of resistance here. Again, if we push through that, like we've obviously hit it on the daily, come back down slightly. If we push up from there, that's only positive, right? we were trading below all of our moving averages. We're now beginning to turn, you know, the moving averages, the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200-day moving averages into support. That is fantastic if you are holding Ethereum. Now, overall, guys, that's just a bit of an overview of the market. We're up 1.29% across the overall market cap. We're kind of in the middle, neutral, 50. We're at 22 from a alt season. But when we look down here, everything is bullish. Okay, we're down 0.17 on the hourly. Never really look at the hourly, but you know, Ethereum currently outperforming Bitcoin on the daily. XRP, to be fair, not a major pump, but that's because we were already pumping up yesterday. Solana looks like it's obviously pushing up. Like everything's looking good, you know, like Cardano or ADA on the last 7 days is a 9% pump. That's massive. Like guys, you can't get more bullish than what it is now. And there could be some rhetoric that obviously changes that, but my personal view is I'm incredibly bullish. There's nothing on the charts or anything like that, or news that is bearish. All that is happening at the moment is bullish news, bullish news, bullish news. Now, if that keeps compounding, you know, interest in the market will increase. And when we look at, you know, let's just look at Bitcoin, because that's the one that people always search. Google trends. Let's have a look. Where are we at? We're still, like, you know, we're actually trending down. You know, we're trending down. Like, what, a couple of weeks ago we were at 21 in terms of worldwide search trends. We're now 18. How is that with all this sentiment? Now, we will hit a bottom, which, to be fair, looks like we're probably there. Where there'll be some macro news or some new interest or stuff that drives retail in the market, because at the moment it's just big business that's buying, and then you will begin to see what everyone that's got crypto right now is beginning to see is like a move to the upside, and that will drive your pockets, guys. So do not sell now. Look at where your investments are, look at your portfolio, do your own research, and consider how you want that to be structured. Again, please like and subscribe, like I said, and hit the bell button, leave a comment down below. From my perspective, it helps keep me motivated doing these videos on the daily, and you know, to be honest with you, I've only got bullish news so far. But yeah, appreciate your time and peace.